Okay, sorry. Welcome to the South Russell Village Council meeting for February the 27th, 8 p.m. Please join us.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Fiscal officer will take the roll.
Kavanaugh. Here. Lickey.
Here.
Woodard is absent. Bell.
Here.
Berger.
Here.
Canton.
Here. We have minutes of the February the 13th regular council meeting. Any changes or corrections to the minutes?
I have a few very minor, just spelling.
Okay, what page?
Page 4, I'm sorry to be this way, I'm just a spelling note. Paragraph 7, so down to the third from the bottom, Madroo is spelled M-O-D-R-O-O. And in that same paragraph, it's Carmela Shale, the one from Jefferson and Water.
Okay.
Just because we want names right.
Okie doke. Thank
Now-
you.
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh.
And then on the next page 5, Michelin on paragraph before, Michelin spelled a couple different ways, but it does not have an E on the end.
Oh, Michelin tires. okay.
Michelin tires. That's it. And the brief is done.
Okay, any other changes or corrections? We have a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Moved by Canton,
Second.
second by Kavanaugh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes passed. All right, we do not have Mr. Kovach to the village-wide yard sale. Any idea what he was going to
He
question?
wanted, he felt that it was very unorganized the way we're doing it, and he wanted it to be done in such a manner that people could register, and then we can list what items they were selling,
Good Lord.
and, do the advertising. I told him we would be doing advertising, and that people would put the balloons on their mailboxes, but he was not satisfied with that, so.
Okay, if he contacts me or shows up, we'll handle it.
But that would be very cumbersome to do it
Yes.
the other way.
All right, forfeiture hearing. Mr. Matasek, they do not have to be here. We need to just take action on this,
That's what you did the last time.
okay? All right, do we have a motion to return $1,000 to Bruce and Cindy Matasek?
So moved.
So moved by Kavanaugh and seconded by Bell.
Solicitor, do you have it? Solicitor, did you have something?
Was it seconded? I didn't hear.
Yeah,
I second.
Kavanaugh and Bell.
Just, again, keep in mind, there was no final inspection. Are you going to maybe condition your motion for the return of the $1,000 subject to the final inspection?
We did that last time.
You did, but that
So
was
from Dave, you're talking about?
Yeah.
correct.
So, yeah, let's move it that we condition it with Dave walking, doing whatever needs to do.
And if you looked at the actual letter that was sent by Bruce, he did welcome the village to come and take a look and verify everything was okay. So I think that closing that loop, making sure the final inspection is done is very important.
Okay. Okay, we'll talk to Dave about final inspection. And so the motion is we're going to give Matasek $1,000 once the final inspection is performed. So when we find that out, we let you know, Danielle,
What?
once the final inspection is performed, then we notify you that you can send a check.
Yeah, then Ruth will do that. There's paperwork that has to be done.
Okay. Dave to Ruth, all right, got it. All right, any other discussion on the Matasek forfeiture? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. All right, the next one is 34 Woodside. They are asking for a grace period to extend this. I guess Ohio State's a reputable company. I don't know why they didn't get this done, but at least they contacted us and asked for an extension. Do we want to give them another couple weeks that they could work on this?
So is there some more than that? So Ohio State is the problem, or the Walshes are asking?
Ohio State didn't, they wanted
It says the homeowner's been sick and they haven't been able to schedule the
It's on the back
inspection.
of the other side.
Oh,
He's
okay.
explaining why he wants a wait.
right.
I say 30, I should have given you 30 more days.
Yeah,
30
30 days is fine. Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion by Bell, seconded by Canton. Bell and
For a 30-day extension.
30-day extension.
And is it a 30-day extension to get the final inspection, or is it a 30-day inspection, 30-day extension to appeal the forfeiture?
Let's say that, we want the final inspection. The final inspection must occur by the end, March 31st. How's that?
I think it's the copy.
Instead of just saying, you must get a final inspection completed by March 31st. Does that satisfy everything? Chris, that's okay with you?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? So the motion will be that the Ohio State Waterproofing has until March 31st for the final inspection to occur. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, we are now at the mayor's report. There is a lot of information which I put out in front of you on the mayor's report. So I'll try to go through this rather quickly. If I can find my own mayor's report. That figures. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I put them all out. There, keep one. I got
Just take one.
It was the bottom of the pile here, Bill.
It always is.
When we were looking at it.
Okay, just a reminder, the fire department will be here on March the 13th. That probably could be like 20 minutes to a half hour. This is also going to be a learning experience for some of the fire departments, so they'll probably bring in maybe 3 or 4 extra people, because they don't, very frankly, they said some of their guys don't understand the whole ambulance village, so they may bring a bunch. Maverick Tour is coming up on March the 14th at 1 o'clock. Spoon River Watershed is going to be there, CT. I'm going to ask Bob if he wants to come from it, represent Mr. Excavator and the homeowners associations. There'll be a handout, and later on the sign will be installed there. But it's kind of nice, since we started this in January of 2019, to get closure on this activity.
Mayor, will this be a special meeting of council if there's more than 4
I
members?
think we've been showing it. Yeah, we've been showing it as a special council meeting on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. The rain date will be on the weather date will be the 21st. This isn't one of the requirements of the grant, that we would have a public tour, a public educational activity. Homeowners, I sent an email to the homeowners offering to give them a little additional information so that they don't have a ton of questions. This came up yesterday at the Lake Louise Homeowners Association meeting. It seemed to be a very popular thing, but once the newsletter gets out, I think they'll see it's simple. You put out some balloons, you don't want it, you don't have to do it. For the Spoon River Watershed Partners, they had different stormwater remediation. They had featured us at their last meeting. This is just another chance for them to show what they were doing. Jerry Canton represented us at the Architecture Review Board, and they approved the park restroom. There's also modifications, if you haven't noticed, that the Muggleton Farm, the rental property has been torn down, and they're building
It was?
the whole rental property's gone, yeah. They're basically doubling the size of the house. It's gonna be quite a home. And the Hawaiian guy he's going in behind CrossFit, and that was also approved at the Architecture Review Board. The Ohio Mayors and City Managers Association, they're doing their lobbying in Washington DC this coming Wednesday. Street Commissioner did a good job with the culvert bidding. Things worked out pretty well. The low bid was 140-some thousand. The high bid was 288,000. Danielle, I've never seen them that far apart.
That
It's
was
just like,
amazing.
whoa.
You know, Bill, I just wanted to say, you know, sometimes, and this is my experience in working with the Cleveland Clinic, doing contracts. Oftentimes, if a contractor doesn't want the job, they bid it high just to say, I've got enough work, I don't need this. And, you know, if you're foolish enough to give me the work, I'll take it at twice the cost. But I think that's the reason why the contractor did it, is that basically his dance card is either full or, you know.
They're efficient. There were 6 different bids though, which really was impressive. There's a little issue coming up with the Geauga County Health District Advisory Committee in selecting a new leader. So we're having a meeting in March to screen the applicants, and then there's a vote coming on later in March. But this, I don't know what all is going on, but I think it's some sort of politics. There is a 2-hour seminar on wells and groundwater. That's going to be on March the 15th. That's up at the Geauga Library. Cleveland Plain Dealer had a wonderful article about the Tom Harvey Memorial Gardens. It was in Sunday's Plain Dealer. Judy Harvey was very impressive. It was in the gardening section that they normally have it in, so I'll pass that one around. I did a bunch of different suggestions of things that I thought we may want to talk about at the building committee meetings. There's different things, and I did all the different committees, just things that I know that are floating around. Probably the only thing, a couple things, is on March the 6th, there's an ESID meeting. Since it's involving Bainbridge and Russell Townships and county officials and McDonald Hopkins, I invited them to come here. They think it will be a rather short meeting, but that's coming up. And there's a lot of other things going on. You also can come, we're doing a potluck to meet the new employee. That'll be on March the 16th at 11:30. And again, when we get to the committee meetings, if you've got questions, please give me a question. Okay, he said we talked about, yard sale we talked about. The only other thing for finance, you guys aren't meeting until the 24th of March.
Right.
Moreland Hills is curious if we want to kick in $500 with the other 5 communities that go to the Chagrin Falls schools for their idea of a environmental practice. And they're looking for everybody, the 6 of us each kick in $500, which would come up to $3,000. We see many objections. I'll find out and let them know that it looks like we may be interested, but we won't know until the end of March. Is that fair enough? Give you enough time to think about it?
Was that to involve students?
Yes.
Yeah,
Some
and
sort of
so
environmental.
that has promise. That sounds like if you've got enough kids involved in participating.
Is there a written document for that proposal that spells out what they're planning to do, what they're trying to accomplish?
No.
Or is this just,
This is the mayor and the Moreland Hills Environmental Committee saying, let's create an incentive for the school kids to come up with projects and certain different things. I agree, Chris. This is March. School year's over in 3 months.
this is very nebulous.
Yeah.
So, we'd be happy to discuss it on March 24th at the finance meeting. But if you could let the powers that be know that if they can't provide more detailed information, we're probably not going to have a very favorable response to it.
It's rushed.
Mayor, do you have any information, like did the school district approach Moreland Hills?
No.
Or is this just an idea of Moreland Hills?
This is an idea from Moreland Hills.
But it was for Chagrin School.
Michigan schools.
Yeah,
To
for
come up with
Chagrin
something.
residents,
But we
kids.
don't even know if there's any interest at the school to do this.
We just don't know a lot. So Chris is right. We
No.
need,
I'll
Way
give
more
you- I'll give you
detail.
guys copies of this. This is all I
Please
have.
give us, okay. All right, well, more information is always better. And we'll take it from there. We can always contact Wallen Hills directly and
Yeah, I'll check in with Katie.
ask
Say, what do you
for
know?
help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are you thinking about? Okay, that's it for the mayor's report. Questions of the mayor?
Just to clarify, the bid opening process, was that for all 4 culverts?
Yes, I believe so.
4 or 3?
Or
When was this?
Friday.
Friday
At
at noon.
noon.
Should the streets committee have been invited to that?
It would have been nice if the fiscal officer wasn't invited to that, but yeah. Probably.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Well, maybe you need to have that conversation
Mhm.
with streets.
224.
Yeah, it's a
I
great
believe the
idea.
bid that went out was for the 4 culverts, but I would assume the bids that were received
Okay, well-
were all 4.
Mhm.
And usually that process includes solely the village engineer. Usually the bids are opened in the case of the village engineer, but I understand the village engineer wasn't available
He was out of.
for that. And I guess he didn't inform anyone that he wasn't going to be available either, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe,
streets or public
Maybe we-
utilities or both probably would have,
or,
should have been. there.
or finance, or, okay, but maybe we need to rewrite the bid opening process as to who should be included in that event, so that we could bring more detail to council as to what actually happened.
Well, I'm trying to think, from someone who attends those, you sit here, everyone just stares at each other, noon hits, they open them up, here they are, and then they all just get up and walk out.
Okay,
It really is, there's no discussion.
but then a report should be issued from the bid opening as to who the winning bidder was, what the amount was, and what it was for, so that council has appropriate information to understand, you know, we've let a contract for $140,000, and we don't know if it's for 3 culverts or for 4, or.
But that, just, so the engineer missed the meeting, it was an emergency situation.
Sure.
Last minute. I do have the bid totals, I will email out to everybody tomorrow morning. But then what happens is the bid goes back to CT and the engineers there go through every single bid, every single quote through the whole bid, and then they check everything, and then at that point, Eric should give council a report, and then there's legislation that council
Okay,
would have
so
to
has
pass.
Eric has not yet provided that report.
I don't know if he's.
That was Friday, today's Monday.
He's-
That's-
I don't know if he's back.
Okay, so we'll await the report of the engineer. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, any other questions of the mayor?
Can I
Yes.
just ask, who
Yes.
tabulated the information, can I ask? After the bid opening, who was
He
tabulating?
tracked it,
Yes,
Leslie and I.
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty well organized. They have, these people walk in sometimes at 5 till 12, and here's a bid, we don't even know they're coming. Leslie quick and typed it up, that this is,
Well, the engineer would know how many people pulled a bid, so there's a whole process. They have to go on the engineer's website, and they have to pull off a report and fill out all these papers, so he knows how many people pull the bid paperwork. But we didn't have that information, so there was 6 bids, which I think is probably the largest bid opening I've had. And then there's a process, you open 1 bid at a time, and everybody watches, and you have to read out the name of the bidder and the bid amount. So there is a process to it, and I assumed that the committee.
No, I'm glad you were there. I'm pretty disappointed because we've talked about it for a few months on the streets committee and
Mhm.
didn't even know there was a meeting. I didn't have the opportunity to say no one on the streets can make it. I
Right.
didn't even know.
Okay, Mayor, here's my 2 little questions. On the back page, for property, what's the columbarium Rob
oh,
Arnold thing?
I wanted to sit down with Rob Arnold. He's in charge of the Chagrin Cemetery.
Mhm.
He talked them into buying a columbarium, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. Now they bought 2 more. It has become the in thing, and I just wanted to get Rob's opinion. I don't think we have the volume for it. When we looked at it, it was like $42,000 for a columbarium. But I think also, just sometimes talking to somebody who's he's pretty much an expert.
It's a great
on
idea.
cemeteries.
I'd
Okay.
love to be part of that. And then the other one, what's the potluck on March 16th? I'm drawing a blank.
It's frankly a way to get everybody together, to have lunch.
Of us?
You're going to be invited, yes, you are invited. What I'm doing is I provide a honey baked ham, Jeff provides baked beans from his mom, everybody brings something. The excuse is we're gonna meet Deb, the new part-time employee.
Okay.
But it's really an excuse to have lunch.
Oh, all
I
right.
mean, it's just tables and we pull out a snowplow and put up some tables. and
Got it.
eat. Well, the only other one probably I should have mentioned is in talking with Chagrin River Watershed Partners, we're gonna try to have a meeting with somebody from David Joyce's office to see with these infrastructure money that's out there, to see is there something, some way, somehow, that we could pick up some more money for stormwater and ponds. I think it doesn't hurt that he now is a South Russell resident, so it's something we're gonna look into. And speaking of South Russell residents, I did put this at your place. This is about the Chagrin Valley Times, to help us with our centennial, is trying to acknowledge interesting residents. And this woman here, the Chagrin Falls teacher, lives in South Russell. She teaches in Mayfield. And I did speak to the reporter saying, hey, if I give you the information and give you a good story, at least get South Russell in at least once. But it's a really touching story about some Ukrainian refugees that are living in our village, and the people that have helped them, this woman that helped them. Okay, I'm finished now. Move to the fiscal officer.
I distributed my report to mayor and council. I don't know if there are any questions. We need to get a motion to ratify the approval of Councilmember Kavanaugh's absence at the 2/13 meeting.
And that surprised me. Do we do that?
Yes.
Yes.
By
But you didn't want to do
council rules, you have to ask, you should ask permission of council to be absent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're gonna make the
You
motion?
made the mistake of, I actually read the rules. I should have done that. Okay, so, motion to ratify, the approval of Councilmember Kavanaugh's absence from the February 13th, 2023 meeting. So moved.
Moved by Berger, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Bell. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, you want to keep going, Chris?
Yeah, motion to approve Councilmember Porter's absence from both tonight's meeting and the March 13th, 2023 meeting. So moved.
Second.
Okay, Berger and Kavanaugh, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, at the last meeting, I told you guys about the NOCCA membership for villages and cities, it's for elected officials. I don't know, I sent it out to everybody. I had 2 council members who are interested in joining. It's $75 per member or $400 for everybody. I don't know how many people were interested.
I'm interested, Danielle. Do they do what like OTA does with the quarterly meetings or some kind of regularly scheduled meetings?
There are scheduled meetings. I sent a bunch of information out. You probably didn't check up on your
I
email.
glanced.
So you're interested?
I am.
All right, that's.
And this is probably more appropriate because it's for villages
It would
and
be way
cities,
more
not for
appropriate,
townships.
yeah.
I
So,
want to make a motion.
Anybody
well,
else?
wait a second, so 75,
Each. So now I have 3.
you might as well do the 400.
Right, so inside
I'm
everybody.
interested.
Thank you.
Does that make sense? Wait, so you want a motion for
I
that?
don't need a motion. I just
Okay.
want to make.
My only question would be, so it includes, it's Geauga County or Cuyahoga County?
It's all of Northeast Ohio.
Oh, so then we're
It's
going to
Northeast
need.
Ohio City Council Association. So
There's,
it's councils of cities and villages.
So it's cities and villages.
The council representative from
Not
like Pepper Pike, she's on the leadership team, so we could have some close contact if we need.
Okay,
All right, you
Still
gonna make a
sounds
motion
good.
for-
No, she doesn't need one, but we agreed, might as well spend the 400.
Yeah.
And that way, every member of council can
attend when they can.
be part of that if they so desire.
And then the last thing I had was I sent, or in my report, for the OML is doing the Legislation Action Committee. So as we know, the income tax revenues have gone up significantly. However, what you may not know is for the last 10, 15 years, the state is trying to get away from having local income taxes. And if they did that, the village would go under. So they're starting a new committee for OML, the Legislative Action Committee. They're asking for $250. They've hired legal representation or action activists. Yes, thank you. Lobbyists to help them when the state's starting to go through how the taxes in Ohio will be. So I think it's worth the $250 to try to help fight to keep our income tax collection, but I just wanted council's approval.
Chris, you want a motion?
Well, okay. I'll make the motion first. Okay, so I make a motion to have the village contribute $250 to the OML Legislative Action Committee. So moved.
Second.
So
Discussion.
in this case, the $250 is going towards trying to maintain local taxes stay at home.
Correct.
Okay, so it is a benefit to the village residents to maintain the tax structure the way it is, so that their monies are spent in their community, as opposed to having the state collect it all and then distribute it as they see fit.
Correct.
So that would be a benefit to the residents, so I think that makes sense.
So it's not about abolishing income tax, it's just about where it goes.
Well, who controls it? Yeah.
Okay.
And whether all the money goes into a pot in Columbus and Columbus doles it out as they see
Sort of
fit.
like the schools, okay.
Yeah.
Dennis brought up the point, there are villages that are, they're hurting. I mean, I don't say we're flush, but we're doing okay. But other places, we have a phone call every 2 weeks, and they are really high on this Montrose group, the OML. And because, as I said, there are a lot of small villages that, if they lost this, they would go out of business.
As it stands, they're taking out loans to do their roads,
Yeah.
so, which is a situation we are fortunate not to have, so.
Okay, any other discussion? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One question now, so for $250 seems pretty cheap for lobbying service.
Well, keep in mind, this is,
Statewide.
well, yeah, right, so any village or any city, join in, so,
So it's fair.
absolutely.
Okay,
And then lastly, the state annual report was filed and distributed to all of council, and so the audit for 21-22 will be happening sometime in the next few months, and I'll keep you posted.
now, all our back audits are overdone.
We're up to date.
We're up to date. Is that because of Mr. Mauer? Does he deserve credit for that?
Mm-hmm. When we were so far behind, and I kind of had some long discussions with the state. Mr. Mauer, he actually works in Ashtabula, so he did our audit for us, but we have developed a good repertoire and good communication, so he told the state he would keep doing our audits. So it works well. He answers my questions, especially now that we're doing all the advances and everything else. So it's working well. So we're hoping he can get the audit done soon. Since he just finished the last one, it will be easier to start the next one.
So this Mr. Morrow he's a private guy?
No, he's from the state auditor's
He's from the
office.
state.
But they each have different sections of the
Territory.
state. So he's doing ours. He does us. I think he also does Auburn.
Okay, thank
It
you.
was pretty, we met with him, it was pretty impressive.
And when I call him, he calls back,
Any other questions of the fiscal officer?
Mhm.
Okay, finance committee.
Just two quick things. Next finance meeting is scheduled for March 24th, Friday at 9 a.m. Secondly, we're proposing that we have a special council meeting to review budget items on March 27th at 6 p.m. prior to the regularly scheduled council meeting. And unless, subject to Councilman Galicki's comments, that's all I have.
No, nothing further.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I had one more thing. I just want to make sure everybody gets on their calendar. The tax budget hearing with the county is August 22nd at 11:20 a.m.
That's the earliest we've ever been notified, isn't it?
Mhm.
Friday, do I have to get approved? I'm not gonna be here March 27th. You have to approve to allow me to miss.
I think it's, first of all, I think it's the 22nd, right?
27th.
Oh, you said 27th.
Okay, sorry. The tax budget is the August 22nd.
Mhm.
The mayor's referring to March 27th.
For the special council meeting?
For the special council meeting and the council meeting, the mayor will be absent.
That's okay, will Councilman Porter be here?
Mhm.
That's fine. He will,
So we don't even need
Sorry.
approval to allow me to miss.
I know that we have to approve council missing. I don't know that we have to approve the mayor missing.
Not part of the legislative body.
Let me check really quick.
Sometimes it's good to be the chief.
Okay, Mayor Acting Solicitor.
I have nothing to report since we have it at safety now, which the easement will be discussed in safety.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions of the solicitor? Looking at our calendar, I have not forgotten you, the guide for council members of the village. I am looking at April 24th.
That's
Okay, I just want to let you know that I haven't forgotten. All right, street commissioner doesn't come. We are at the street committee.
Street Committee, we have adjusted our March meeting due to the absence of Councilman Porter. We will now be meeting Tuesday, March the 7th at 8:30 a.m. in the Streets Department. All are welcome. And that's all I have.
Okay, questions of the street committee?
No, but I wanted to, Tim's not here, but I thank him because he took extra time with ABR and different things to get the bathroom rolling. And Gary, I think you attended some of those too, so thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
he got us through the planning commission and the ABR, and Jerry also did the ABR. So yeah, we're good. Building committee, you're up.
Building Committee, we are scheduled to meet this Thursday, March the 2nd at 8 a.m. in the Building Department office. Once again, all are welcome. And subject to anything Councilman Porter or Canton has.
Call me what you want to call me, but don't call me late for dinner. I have nothing to add.
There's a
We need to do.
Oh, there is a motion here.
motion
Okay.
on the table.
We have make a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of Cindy Matasik for a 4-year term to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
It's been moved by Bell, seconded by Canton. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Chief, you're up.
Yeah, under my heading, it looks like we have a couple of motions to approve for the increased cost of the traffic signal mast arm in the amount of $21.83. I believe that is due to the fact that the original survey posted one of those masts right over a gas line, so they have to move that proposed location of that mast arm about 10 feet into the 5197 property.
Okay. Jerry, you want to make that?
Yes. At this time, I would like to make a motion to approve increased cost of the traffic signal mast arm in the amount of $2,183.
Second.
Seconded by Galicki. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. You want to knock off the next one?
Sure. A motion to approve the operating agreement with the South Russell Police Association for the car show and to authorize the mayor to execute it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And third, a motion to approve the easement for the traffic signal support on the property of 5197 Bell and authorize the mayor to execute on behalf of the village.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion.
Where is this at, Jerry?
This is.
5197.
It's the dry insurance. It's basically, the pole had to go up a little
Oh,
farther,
we
that's what
talked
you
about
said,
that.
there was a gas line right underneath.
Got it, okay.
And in addition, once you approve this, it will have to go to planning commission for approval in order for it to be recorded with the county, so just letting you know, there is a bit of a process here.
He'll be back in the country, March the 6th,
Okay.
Mr. Yurg. All right, it's been moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. Anything else from the chief?
Couple other things to report. We received today our body armor grant in the amount of $4,836. Also, the Gov Deals auction ended on the 22nd, which was last Wednesday. Total received $14,329.10. Service department equipment totaled $623.10. Police department equipment, including 2018 Ford Explorer, $13,706. Also, a follow-up to the crosswalk at Gertie and Bell, and potentially Alderwood and Bell. The price point approximately $15,000 to $16,000 per crosswalk. So that includes 2 solar paneled LED signals at each location. So I throw that back into the hands of council for decisions.
And that was with ADA?
Yes, yeah, so they said it's safe to budget about $16,000 per location.
But does that include any of the sidewalk ramping that might have to be done? Is that part of the?
That would be something, the one side is already completed, we would have to do the opposite side.
But that's not part of the.
No, they're talking about the signals and the installation of the
Okay.
signals only.
Is there a price break for doing both at the same time?
No, he said about 30,000 for both.
For both.
So I would
But
imagine,
we could do them, they're independent projects.
Yes.
We could choose to do one year and one the next, or.
he said, figure 15 to 16 on one of them, but if you did both, around 30. So there's probably a little price break.
So I read that, would we be putting a flashing light up if kids are gonna be crossing it?
It would be a flashing light only when they push the button. So they hit the call button and then the flashing light will initiate. It'll run on a timer for about 20 seconds to allow people to cross the road, 20 to 30 seconds.
This could be
And it will automatically shut off.
a learning experience for drivers.
Well, drivers are not real careful in the school zone either, so we try to pay attention to
If
that.
you're looking for, I know you missed the last meeting, if you're looking for an example of what the system looks like, if you take Route 44 into Chardon, right about the place of the
Bass Lake Tavern.
Bass Lake Tavern,
Mhm.
there is the construct that we're looking at.
Do they have the flashing light there?
Yes.
They do.
When somebody wants to cross the road,
Okay,
but they also have the striping for the crosswalk.
So it would be
I
an
see.
on-demand signal.
So
So
that's
somebody
it.
would have to manually activate it.
that's at Maple Highlands.
Yes, the
Okay.
Highlands Trail.
All right,
Is that where the bike trail is, right?
yeah,
there?
the same thing, yeah.
Same thing, okay.
Old
Chief,
people on bikes.
We want to be careful on this. We've all done crosswalks where we've all come close to getting hit. I think we want to be real careful as to how we install this and probably some education. If you can see a kid coming up, hitting the button and going, running across. So I think we want to really take our time and figure out how we do this.
I think Gurney Elementary, that would be a great teaching experience for them there.
For the resource officer, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, right.
Chief, are you aware of any organizations or any entities that might offer safety grants for such projects?
I'm not aware of anything at this point, but we can certainly
Yeah.
research that.
Chris, you got a good point, because when you go out to Amish country now, my wife and I just did our Meals on Wheels today. Every Amish school has the same setup that Dennis described. I mean, there's, I'd say we see it's at least 15 just today, where you just go through. And these aren't crosswalks, these are just the school zone lights. and they're now encouraging kids to cross the street.
You'll notice these things are starting to pop up all over the place, and they're just trying to make, you know, the crossing of the roads a little safer. Every little thing helps. Everything that we've done in the past, you know, anytime we erect a sign or, you know, try to, you know, zero in on a no parking zone, we're trying to make the roads a little safer. So this is one of those safety measures that wouldn't hurt.
We have residents already crossing the street in those locations.
Yeah, they do it constantly.
Plan
At Alderwood going across to the park happens.
And that one may be more of an active crossing than Gurney.
Yeah.
If you think about it, more people use that park than they would the, you know, the athletic fields at Gurney.
Are there signs prior to the crosswalk alerting drivers that there's a crosswalk?
I believe the signs are actually posted right on the masts where the LED system and the solar panel is located. There's a sign posted right on the one at the Maple Highlands Trail.
So like
I think-
any advance?
I think there is one on approach also.
Okay.
So could we have our own crosswalk sign X amount of feet back is what you're saying? maybe?
Like a stop sign ahead.
Something.
Yeah.
We put those,
Crosswalk ahead.
yeah, we put those on Daisy Lane when we erected the stop signs on Daisy. We put stop sign ahead, so it gives a little warning.
Or the famous, we love our children.
One of the nice things you've never gotten credit for is putting what I call the reverse flash
Oh, yeah.
cross zone. When you're sitting here at the light, you can see down Gurney, a light flashing, which tells you the school zone. You can't see the school zone flasher because it's on the backside of the.
It's
so you're
designed,
both
yeah, it's
ways.
designed so that if you enter the school zone from the middle of the school zone, you'll know that the flashers are on. Mostly for people in Maple Springs or Sugarbush.
I'm just thinking about the people coming up over the hill heading, what is that, east?
Well,
Yeah.
if they're driving
Well-
35 or 40.
Our school zone flashers are in that location as well, but the crosswalk would be more beyond the school zone flashers. So they should have plenty of advantage. No,
You know, when you get set to implement this for safety, we want to also trim the trees. Because in springtime, sometimes the trees hang down and you can't see the
Tim does that every year.
school zone.
So they go out every year and they trim the trees to make sure the school zone flashers are clear.
I'm sorry, I'm confused now. Safety. Who's got safety?
I have safety.
You got it. Okay. Can you talk to CT Consultants? Because, I mean, they have people who can research for the grant money. And we talked about it briefly with Eric before. And so he's gonna have to be involved anyway in terms of the installation of the project. So let's have CT go and run and see if there's some grant money available to us.
They have a person named Jenny Brown.
Yeah.
That's all she does is grants.
Okay, so,
Wow.
Yeah. Anything else for the safety committee? All right, HR committee.
No, we have,
Oh,
the safety committee, I do have one thing.
okay, you're on.
Next safety meeting will be held on March the 2nd at 9 a.m. at the police station. Councilman Galecki, anything to add?
Nope.
That's all I have.
All right, we are now at the HR committee. Ruth,
HR, looks like we need, I'm going to make a motion to approve the holiday luncheon date of 12/15/23 at noon.
second.
second, moved and seconded by Berger. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes.
NIMS training. We need to do this. I presume, did you add this, Mayor? I didn't add this.
No.
Okay,
Chris Berger goes.
There's a big packet.
I saw it. And that's all I did was see it. Do you want to comment on it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, help me here, Danielle, but what is required for council members is,
Are you looking for the level that's required?
well,
There's different levels on
of
that
course,
front page.
I think I've got it.
but just, okay, so just the number of courses that have to be done.
For elected officials, 100 series, 200 series is suggested. G402 is suggested, and G191 is suggested.
So the 100 series, it sounds like that's your basic, must get that done.
You know, you'll have to look into it.
I will.
It's introduction to the incident command system, introduces the initial command system, provides foundation for high level training. The mayor pro tem, you know, required is 100, 200, 700, G402 and G191. And department heads are also required to do 100, 200, 300, 400, 700, and 800.
What page are you on?
No, it's.
I'm looking at the
The top
mass
on the
training
packet.
overview.
Do you want to look at that?
I'll say, I'm not patting myself on the back. Well, before I started my term, I did both the trainings. The reason I'm saying it, I think it's really worthwhile for everybody. It gives you a really good idea of when you need to step in, when you need to stay away, and also how the system really works. I was fascinated by it. But
Okay.
it is going to take about 4 hours of your time total, but you can do it in increments.
And there are people in East Palestine that's saying right now, I wish I would have taken it.
And same with Oakwood. I mean, you know, when there's an emergency situation, you have to know what is the proper way to respond and how to communicate with your surrounding communities, so.
I would just like to comment with that. Reading over the old minutes, I found out that my dad was the civil defense guy. What would he be after he came back from the war? Because he was a pilot and they were involved in the village. So go Dad.
We're recommending that we gain compliance by June 30th of this year. So that gives you 3 months to find 4 hours to do your training for the council members.
Okay.
Okay, anything else in HR?
We will be meeting at 1 PM this Thursday, which I think is the 2nd. Mr. Berger and I, feel free to join us if you wish.
Any questions of the HR committee? You still got the floor, Ruth, you're at the property.
Properties, the mayor knows more about the Masonic flag donation. Sounds like it's ready to go. You want to elucidate on that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, they approached us, said they had $5,000. We talked about what we wanted to do, tried to talk them into solar. We found solar was going to be terribly expensive. So basically, what we're looking at is a 25-foot flagpole, a brick walkway from the parking lot on East Washington. They're going to be about 30, 40 feet long, to a bench. There will be a plaque at the base of the bench. There will be a 300-watt light bulb that shines up on this 25-foot flagpole. They would give us $3,000, and they would like to have a nice ceremony when that would occur.
So we'd want to do that in the good weather,
Yes. we'd do it.
right at the site?
Yes, there'll be a delay getting the electricity there. Now, when we're looking into this, one of the things that's come up is we're paying almost $100 a month we pay $100 a month for the flag on East Washington, for the flag over here at the northwest corner by the bank, for the flag at the cemetery, and the flag at the pavilion. So we're paying almost $400 a month to light up 4 flags, and it's maybe $5 to $10 worth of electricity. It's basically $90 for a meter. So one of the things coming up at the next streets meeting, I think, is it going to be on there? Has Tim talked about it yet?
No.
Okay, we've talked about it. We haven't decided. We've just talked about there's got to be a better way than, so we're spending $5,000 a year just to light up 4 flags. I don't know that we could get a group rate with First Energy, but
But it's the meters that are the issue.
it's the meters. It's the issue.
I believe our package said solar was 7,400, right?
7,500, yeah.
7,500?
Now, I do have a question about that, because, you know, the previous information that I think the mayor put out was we need 8 solar panels installed, and the cost was prohibitive. But I've got a question, maybe the chief can answer this. We have less than a 1-foot square panel that operates our flat cameras.
Mhm.
You know, is the draw anymore to illuminate a flagpole?
I think if you're talking about an LED with higher intensities, your battery life could be significantly affected by that. But the solar panels, in our case, are charging a battery pack which only runs a camera when it's being used, like in motion. So to have a high intensity beam of light running constantly could be a significant drain on a solar panel. It may not even work in the winter months. Some of the issues that we're having right now is just due to the fact that the sun is not at its highest point. Some of our cameras are not charging. They had to do some upgrades, but it really depends on what you're trying to illuminate. So I wouldn't have any experience on how long it would last or if it would make it through the night.
So it's not apples and oranges, it's apples and potatoes.
A little bit.
Yeah, you're looking to simulate on East Washington, it's a 300 watt LED bulb. I mean, you can see that. The guy that quoted 7,500 said in December, you probably need 15 hours of solar power because of the grayness. And the other thing, even with that, is you would need a insulated building to hold the battery.
Yeah, we're not Southern California.
No.
The question I have, and this is from finance, fiscal perspective, is we've heard what the Masons are going to give us. We've heard what we want to put in, but I haven't seen anything that talks about the total costs of what this flagpole is going to cost the village. So I recognize that, we also have the cost of the energy to illuminate, but do we have any idea? Do we have any quotes on the bricks, the pathway, the installation?
Yes, we
The
figured.
bench, et cetera?
Yeah, we could do all of that for less than $3,000. The bricks we have on property, our guys would do the work. The bench is going to be $800. We're really waiting on the Masons to come up with the wording on their plaque, but the plaque's probably only going to be $300.
And this is it's all confined within that $300, $3,000.
$3,000, yeah.
Okay,
If we get $3,000, we're probably going to make some money, but after a couple months, we're going to start losing money.
Yeah, because we're gonna spend $1,200 a year to light the flagpole, okay? And to me, that makes no sense whatsoever,
Okay?
okay? I mean, I love the idea of having a flagpole there, but, you're gonna give me $3,000 and it's only gonna cost me $1,200 a year to operate this $3,000 gift. We need to get more into the solar side of it, and we need to figure this out, and then we need to figure out where else we can put solar in and eliminate these ongoing monthly electrical charges.
so
'Cause this is crazy.
here's a question I have, and Dennis, you can answer it. Do the flags have to be illuminated overnight?
Yes,
Yes.
as long as you're flying the flag, it has to be illuminated.
We used to have a small solar one on the cemetery, but I don't think it lit up enough, but it was very
Yeah.
small.
The ones that you get, and the village had experience with it, it almost looks like an old-fashioned fluorescent tube. It's this round, solar thing that they don't adequately illuminate the flag. And, it's great if maybe you're doing that for the house or the flagpole in front of your house. But in terms of civic, use, municipal use, it really is inadequate. So, the whole thing is maybe that solar is an option, but again, as the mayor pointed out, you get into, you have to build a little house. I don't think the technology is there yet for solar. It's a great idea. Maybe we build a windmill. I'm just saying that tongue in cheek. But, the alternatives to, powered lights, unfortunately, are.
All right, why don't we do this? The motion hasn't been brought up, has it?
No.
Okay, can we just skip these first two? And
Can I just make one comment with respect to the properties committee? If we are gonna move forward with a brick walkway, I think we should definitely reach out to the building department because the park is a conditional use, and I don't know if a brick walkway would require some sort of planning commission review.
And there would be no prohibition from the Land Conservancy, I guess, either.
I don't know, I don't
We're
think
on the
so.
other side.
On the other side.
We're on the other side, right? On East
We're
Washington.
we're on our part of that triangle.
Okay, I didn't know how far back it went.
I just have to say though, as a child raised by generations of Masons, that it's a very nice gesture, and I hope we come to some kind of solution.
Okay, let's jump down to the third motion, Ruth. the
Third,
Cleveland State.
motion to approve the change of the Cleveland State University film event from February, I think it was the 17th to March 4th.
It's been moved. We have a second.
I'll second that.
Second by Canton, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Motion to hold the 100th birthday party on July 23rd, 2023 at the park.
Been moved by Kavanaugh. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second?
Are the Browns playing that day?
It's July, Jerry.
That was an
That's what they're saying.
Discussion?
If they are, they can come to our event.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, Ruth, you're rolling.
Motion to approve the 100th anniversary activities.
The, are in front of you, it has the South Russell Village logo at the top. Ruth, I made some changes that you don't know about, so I'm gonna go through these if you don't mind,
Please do.
okay?
Just distributed this.
It looks like it would cost, if we wanted to do everything, about $10,000 to do everything. This would be in addition to the money we've allocated for the fall festival.
No, it's just so you know, it's in a separate fund. It's in the general fund
It
in
wasn't a general
miscellaneous.
fund, it's already in there?
Mhm.
Okay, so.
But that's just the concept. That isn't the activities.
Okay, so,
And, you know, I have a lot of questions, but I'll let you speak first, Mayor.
okay. Two band concert, there would be a band concert in conjunction with the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce that might possibly include food and drink. The second one, third bullet point is the new logo. The fourth one is participating in the Blossom Time Parade, would include the police car, the bike patrol, the Mountain Road Antique Bicycle is gonna be with us. There'd be candy, there would be business trucks with business logos attached to the sides of the trucks. A Model T carrying our oldest living resident, banners, flappers, farm wagons, and other possible items. Next, the 100th birthday party on Sunday the 23rd, we just did that. A guided lecture tour of the Warwick Cemetery, a tea party with local historian or historians about life in the 1920s, possibly the Interurban Railroad. I've asked NOPEC if they would fund this, and they said, the person must know about the Interurban Railroad. So he said, well, maybe it's the Interurban Railroad, so we've got to get a proposal from them. Expansion of the annual fall festival to include 1920s type crafts, the black glass blowing, blacksmith, a biplane flyover, and other historic activities. Kids movie night, pavilion, we would be able to rent all that stuff, projectors, the screen, movie, computers, popcorn, drinks, etc. Pamphlet on the history of South Russell, which could be one of our bigger expenses. And also we should reserve the pavilion 23rd and then all those dates in September for the fall festival. Okay, those are just proposals. Ruth, probably have you go first and then take questions.
To move to, I did move that. I moved to
It's been
approve.
moved and seconded.
But Dennis, did you have some?
Yeah, I sure do, and I'm really concerned about the cost of the activities. And, you know, I know the mayor just mentioned some wild guess to say it's all gonna be about $10,000. But, you know, are we saying that these commercial vehicles that are going to participate in the parade, we're going to pay the cost for their parade participation?
Volunteering.
Well, okay, so they are bearing about a $500 cost to be in the Blossom Parade. You know, emergency vehicles, police vehicles, they participate in the Blossom Parade for free. If you're a commercial concern, it costs you $500 this is a couple years old price. Or if you have a car that you want to drive in the parade, say for instance, you're a political candidate. I want to put a sign on my car and drive in the parade. That was about $300-400. Are we inferring that the village is picking up those costs? Is that the understanding for these people that we want to participate?
I don't know the answer to that, but here's a question. Did the J.C.'s, would they look at this group as part of the South Russell group, or do they look at each vehicle separately?
I think you have an issue that the solicitor brought up previously about commercial vehicles or our vehicles with commercial signs on them participating in this event. So, and the other thing is, we generally, and correct me if I'm wrong, Danielle, it costs us about $4,000 just for the Fall Festival picnic, right?
Fall Festival picnic, no, that's about 7,500.
It was
No.
more.
$7,500. So that event alone costs $7,500.
Well, we did budget 10,000 for the village activities, but to your point,
Right.
if each vehicle is, I saw anywhere from $300 to $600. And then, I'm not sure about having the village vehicles doing businesses, how that is legality. And then the other thing was, I know this is something you brought up before with having the glass blowing and all that, if that's permitted, so.
Right. Those are definitely questions.
If that's permitted at the park?
No. So I mean, you normally do not have businesses, or
Commercial
vendors, other than, let's say, the popcorn person or the ice cream, or I apologize, I haven't been to the Fall Festival, but you normally don't have vendors at the Fall Festival. This would definitely be a sea change, right? To include these sort of activities. I'm assuming they are vendors, they're going to be selling their wares. Am I wrong?
No, we're looking at demonstrations.
Oh, okay. So no
But,
sales.
What we,
And will they have advertisements?
I think definitely there'd be a sign to say who he is, yeah. Now, we do have vendors already, so is that gonna be,
What do you have already? Sorry.
we've had vendors for years,
Oh, okay.
ice cream trucks.
Does
Popcorn.
Chagrin Pet take credit for all the cider that they do?
No, he does all that for free.
He does put advertising up, which has been questioned, but
He also puts his own bill.
So
But then-
it seems to me we've approved holding the event at the park on the 23rd of July.
But that's all you did was really, by that motion, reserving the park for that day.
And then it seems to me that this is a great working list, but it's not something that council should approve tonight these are the activities that are gonna happen until it gets fleshed out more and there's more detail, including, the costs of these particular items and the proposal to have these vendors or these other people at the park, what have you, that the council needs more information.
Does it make more sense to incorporate this with the Fall Festival? Instead of having two activities, you have the one, you consolidate them. Does it make more sense doing that?
But you still need costs.
Well, True.
Or do you move the fall festival to July 23rd to honor the birthday and just say that is the festival for the year?
My concern, Chris, is, without having an idea of what all this stuff is going to cost us, I see where this can grow 3 times, 5 times.
Okay,
I don't see
so
$50,000.
I'm suggesting that we table the motion pending properties having more discussion and getting more information. I think this is a great list to work from, but come back to council with more detail and say, this is what we want to do. And I think council would look upon it favorably.
I have a question. When the $10,000 was set aside, that was for everything, Fall Festival and the 100th?
That's for just the 100th.
That's what I
It's just
thought.
money put aside, but it doesn't, council still has to weigh in as to what you're gonna do. That was just kind of a placeholder.
So my opinion only, I'd be shocked if we went beyond that. I have no intention of going even close to it, let alone beyond it. I could be unrealistic in that. But something to think about, and yes, we can make this as detailed as you want it. This is gonna be the only time we do a centennial in our lifetimes, unless anybody plans, oh, I won't be here when I'm 169, so.
Well, then why don't we do this? Let's first of all get this motion tabled. What's the proper way to do this?
Did we have a first and second? I know,
I moved, yeah.
yeah, but was
Yeah,
We
that?
can't second it.
Moved in, Canton seconded. All right,
You know, I mean, an excellent case in point is, every year at the Fall Festival, the committee comes up with great ideas, and there have been times when we've wanted rocket cars and a whole heck of a lot. And we've had to work within our budget instead of having a whole, train and caboose in there. So, I just, to echo Chris's point, I think it's just, let's get a comfort level about how much all this stuff is gonna cost. Because again, that 4-hour event at the Fall Festival is $7,500 right there, so.
So it would have been good to know this when we were doing budget, because that's when that came up, Dennis. And I heard that $10,000 for the 100, thinking, wow, that's gonna be more than enough, but separate from the Fall Festival. So I feel like that would have been a better time to talk about that than, but if I'm hearing correctly, we just want real firm details.
Well, real firm costs associated with the activities, I think, that's
fair.
That's all, and
That's
that's all,
good.
and we may find out, hey, it is under $10,000, and that would be a wonderful situation.
But I can't go beyond it regardless.
Well,
I wouldn't go beyond it.
Well, you could come to council and say, we've got some great ideas and it's absolutely fabulous and it's gonna cost us $15,000. And if council says you're willing to go find the money to do it, that's okay. But
Okay, can I ask this?
but it's too nebulous at the moment to
But
be able to.
you also
make
might
a
want a
decision.
situation where you have 10 bicycles and a kazoo band, because that's all you can afford, and on the budget. So I think it is, let council know what real accurate, prices we're talking about. And council, like Chris said, might say, sure, that's okay.
Okay, on this list, before we table this, is there anything on this list? I'll take responsibility for dumping this list on Bruce just a couple minutes ago. Is there anything on there that you really object to?
Solicitor, you want to weigh in on the vehicles?
So I guess at one point I thought I was going to be a village vehicle,
No,
and
because
then
we're not
that
allowed.
was turned right.
Yes.
So it's just interesting. So how will you solicit the business trucks with the business?
I just went to a couple people and said, can we use your truck? They said, sure. Can we put logos on them? They said, sure.
Now, did those people say, well, you can use my truck, but did you say, well, it'll cost you $500?
No. Well, let's wait and see if it does.
Right, I mean, I can't imagine it wouldn't cost something. What about having, just business members walking in the parade with everybody with their shirts on that say their businesses? I don't know, I'm just trying to think why, the business trucks is just interesting. It's just a question of, do we have every business represented? Probably not, right?
No, but
Just those
every
that-
business would have the opportunity to provide a 24 by 24 inch logo.
How do they get notified?
By me, hand
Okay.
delivered.
All 300 business? I mean, I'm just trying to get,
It'll also be in the newsletter, it'll also be in the paper.
businesses don't get the newsletter, just.
Yeah, I just want to be careful there. We have a couple businesses that we're not even really sure are or are not operating, and I just wouldn't want them to be left out.
Fair enough.
So is the village not able to have sponsorships then either?
Correct.
So I'm a little confused because you'll see township trucks or fire trucks in the parades, but we can't have something of a vehicle from here?
You could have a police vehicle, you could have a fire vehicle, but
You can have the service vehicle, you just can't put advertising for
No,
private businesses.
I know that.
Yeah, that's all.
All right.
So you could have a service vehicle with the South Russell logo on it.
Mhm.
that's no problem. But yeah, you can't have any commercial
Put
business.
Augie's on, it's got an issue. Okay,
Okay.
anything else that people see that is a red flag on this list so far?
The only red flag, I don't have a red flag, but just in the telephone conversations I've had with the blacksmith, with the glass blowers, and with the, I call her wood chopper, wood carving lady,
Mhm.
that's taken some real time. And I'm gonna want to know opinions. If you have strong opinions, are we gonna just do this July 23rd, or do we wanna skip that? Do we want the fall festival, or do we want a combo? So I need you folks to let me know, and I wish that Brown's schedule would come out fast.
Well, one thing I'll tell you, Ruth, from the experience with the fall festival is oftentimes if there are costs associated with these guys, that's good to know. Because sometimes, like for instance, the bands that we've had, we got them for 4 hours. But if we wanted them for more time, it costs more money. So, a lot of that depends on how much they charge for their services by hour, or is there a package, or is it all day, or what?
And quite frankly, like for example, the cemetery, those folks are from Historical Society. I don't believe they're gonna charge us anything.
No, I'm not worried about this list.
Okay,
Is there anything on the list?
I'm just
Last
aggravated.
call.
I just want to make sure, so you also had on here, so will you guys reserve the pavilion for July 23rd for this event? Just so that we mark it off as is reserved, because we had a conflict already. So you also want to reserve September 10th, 17th, 24th, October 1st, and 8th as tentative dates for the fall festival until we find out the Browns football schedule. So can someone make a motion for that so we can block it off?
Hang
on the
on, we haven't
reservation?
tabled the first one yet, have we?
Okay.
Okay. All right,
how do you table a motion?
You would withdraw.
You can table it.
I table my
Table.
motion to approve the 100th anniversary activities until further details are forthcoming.
okay.
Says
And Ruth, at the bottom of this list, can you do the motion to pavilion reserve on those dates at the bottom?
I move
Vote to.
that South
They
Russell,
need to vote on the table.
So we need a second to table it.
Do we need to vote to table?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay,
Ruth
we're
made
back,
it.
Ruth, sorry.
Do we second the table?
second the tabled
I'll second
motion.
the table.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is tabled. All right, Ruth, pavilion reserved.
I move that we reserve the pavilion until we get the Brown schedule out. I move that we reserve the pavilion for July 23rd, September 10th, 17th, 24th, and October 1st and 8th to be amended once the Brown schedule is out with firm July 23rd.
All right. Been moved, we need a second.
I second it.
Discussion.
Should there be a rain date for the 23rd?
Yes, you're right.
I didn't want to say until discussion.
One of these days will be, sure.
Well,
I'm not gonna rain date that because that's the actual date, so they're gonna have to crowd close under the pavilion. They'll bring
And-
umbrellas.
And if we do cake and ice cream, it's a one-time, one shot.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passed. All right, so now, looking at these list of items that we have here, there's nothing on here that people are concerned about that feel should be taken off. Are there things that should be added on?
I think just in talking to two glass blowers, there's not a lot of interest with that. The person that did it at the fair is deceased. So I'm knowing that isn't coming. The
Okay,
blacksmith cannot come July 23rd, but was open to the fall dates and wanted to know them right away.
okay. That's what we could do.
The wood carver can come July 23rd, but was iffy about and needed to know again the fall date.
Frankly, my plan for July 23rd is to go to a couple residents and say, look, we want to do this party. We want that you have this amount of money, handle it. Let us know what you're going to do.
As far as
Then
cake,
that's
ice cream, whatever,
Cake, ice cream, get it done,
proclamation.
yeah, get it done, come to us when you have a plan, we'll pay for it, and let's go.
So
To
are
be
we
appointed to
creating
that.
an ad hoc committee then for that?
Oh, I guess you could call, I was just gonna call up a couple of friends and say, hey.
If they're discussing village business and making village plans, it's a committee, it's a public meeting.
Unfortunately. Yep, it is.
It's gonna be paid for with village funds, so.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Can I just ask a question, just out of curiosity, because the new logo, is that gonna be a new permanent logo or a 100th anniversary logo?
I haven't even gone that far. I would say hundreds. Maybe we don't want to say 100th in 2 more years.
I was just wondering.
Our logos are boring.
Right, that's why I was wondering.
Absolutely classic.
Okay, anything else that should be added that we possibly are missing here? Okay, Ruth, we'll go back to the drawing board, and we'll be back with some ideas.
If we go back to the logo,
Mhm.
I mean, we could use the logo we have now,
Sure we could.
but on top of it or below,
Put a
celebrating 100 years.
Done. Since 1923,
Exactly.
yes, it's no big, this is a
I'm
problem.
feeling the pins poking into the balloon that's
Didn't you want the
surrounding
kids?
me. That's okay, though. I'm not gonna take it.
Well, and given that fact, Jerry, should we institute that right now, since we are celebrating the 100 years this year?
We are.
We haven't done it yet. Well, okay, do whatever you want. I don't
Well, if we're just slapping a 100 on there, that's easy. Somebody that has an eye for art, which is not me, can make that.
Anything else on the centennial celebration? Going once, going twice. Okay, Ruth, we are now to the point, motion to approve the mayor's appointment to the park committee. That is Greg Gam.
I have so many
Oh,
lists
I'm sorry.
going,
It's
sorry.
just Greg Gam, okay.
Motion to approve the mayor's appointment to the park committee of Greg Gam.
Do we have, what term?
He's
What
a
is-
2-year
They're all 4-year.
on the park.
Yeah, we just going, yeah. Oh, since 2014 or 16, we've ran into some problems. So, yeah, so there's supposed to be 4 years for all. It was the first appointments that were 2 and 3 to stagger them, and after that, they should have been 4. So we did go through, track everything, and we're trying to clean it up.
Is there a commencement date on the terms?
They go from January 1st to December 31st, so they should be 4-year terms. So if it's for this year, it would go for 23,
From 1
24, 25, 26.
Okay,
And now second one.
it's been moved and seconded, so, all right, so we'll get this revised. I've been using this.
Yeah, we just figured it out in the last couple days.
Okay, good. All right, been moved and seconded for Greg Gam to serve on the park committee for a 4-year term. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're still on the property committee. Any other questions on the property committee?
Just one question again about the centennial. And Ruth, you mentioned about a publication that we're gonna put out.
Yes.
Is that publication gonna hit in July?
Oh, I hope to have it done before then, because we need to have the old lady tea party before then.
Well, and I'm just wondering, it's already March coming up here, and just wondered, do we have anything yet or not?
Right there.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Unfortunately, we can't take that to the printer. So,
People don't care about printed things like they did 25 years ago when I did this. So whatever it is, I presume it's going to be a lot smaller and we can put it on the website. Yeah.
Anything else, Ruth?
No, I'm wondering if I was out of my mind when I said I'd be happy to do this.
Bruce,
It's gonna be great.
Are we going to begin meeting property on the first Thursday of the month? We were talking about that, and I brought that up last council.
We better start doing that.
So it's gonna be this Thursday at 10 o'clock?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, yes, we did that as a regularly scheduled meeting, right,
Right,
yes.
Danielle?
I believe
At
so.
10 a.m.
Yeah, meeting here in the hall.
Here in the hall, 10 a.m., first Thursday of every month. So
That's
that's,
this coming Thursday.
yes, it is. So that's, again, March 2nd. And I thought that was already
Yeah, it
handled and
was.
understood. I'm sorry, I just didn't announce it.
Anything else from the property committee? Okay, one last thing. The restroom. The price keeps going up. There are nature work grants. Chris, thank you. That was, you suggested that. I can't believe we hadn't thought of it ourselves. Nature works grants. Normally it's been about 45,000. This coming year, 16,000. I've talked to Geauga Parks and I've talked to Randy Sharp, who is I don't know his title.
Sharp administrator.
They are not applying this year, and usually, those are the big guys who get the money. So it's a chance for us to pick up $16,000 to get a Nature Works grant. We did the same thing, we got $24,000 to help pay for the playground. The issue is if we go for a Nature Works grant, we probably won't know until the fall if we got the grant, so we can't spend a penny until that time, which means we would not have our restroom this year unless we, bought it in December. So think about it, property committee, and we'll discuss this Thursday if we go for the Nature Works grant. Okay, we are now at the Public Utilities Committee meeting.
Yes, Public Utilities will meet March 24th, Friday at 8 a.m. And that is the report.
Okay, questions of the Public Utilities?
I don't have a question, Mayor, but I wanted just to circle back. There is no requirement that the mayor's absence from a council meeting needs to be approved by council.
So I really don't amount to much.
So Chris Berger,
Yes, ma'am.
would you be able to discuss at the Public Utilities meeting if the possibility that we could get the meter cost reduced on those flags? Would that be a valid subject to come up?
Sure.
Okay. That upsets me because flying flags should not be difficult or expensive.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we have a
We'll
first,
raise the issue.
Thank
first,
you.
the first ordinance, Councilman Canton.
Thank you, Mayor. Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into a contract with the Chagrin Valley Dispatch Council for IT services and declaring an emergency.
Move to waive readings.
And move to waive readings, yes.
Need a second?
Second.
Second by Kavanaugh. Roll call, please.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Glicky,
Aye.
Porter, I'm sorry, Bell,
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Glicky,
Aye.
Bell,
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton.
Okay, the ordinance is passed. Chris Bell, you're going to just do the second reading.
Sure. Second reading of an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the contract agreement between Chagrin River Watershed Partners, Inc. and South Russell Village for the South Russell Village Manor Brook Stream Restoration Project, authorizing the mayor to execute amendment number 1 and declaring an emergency.
Second reading, okay. Any other ordinance?
Can I interrupt okay, so we did the second reading. We need the watershed to do our final report that will be due by March 31st. And since Councilmember Porter is gone till March 4th, and then he'll be back, and then he leaves again March 10th to the 15th, and we have 2 council members that can't vote on it, we need to have a special meeting to get this done, to give the Chagrin River Watershed Partners time to get our last report together. So if we have time between the 6th and maybe the 9th to have a 2-minute special meeting to do the third reading and adopt.
I'm not going to be here from the afternoon of the 9th, so I'm open on the 6th, which is a Monday, or the 8th, which is a Wednesday.
Well, we're busy on the 6th, right?
Well, up until this, but you, I mean.
You don't
Yeah,
get
we
it.
allocated, right.
Yeah, you're out.
How about
You
this?
and I are out.
There is a streets committee meeting on Monday, the 6th, correct?
No, Tuesday the 7th.
Tuesday, the 7th. Oh, I got one.
Actually, I'm good on the 7th, just not in the evening.
Tuesday, the 7th at, say, you want to do it at 8:30?
Streets is at 8:30.
Are
Okay,
you available on the 7th on this? Because if you
On the
come,
7th,
yeah,
it should be.
at 8:30 in the morning, the right before the streets committee meeting, like a 2-minute meeting before the meeting.
so we have a special council meeting on Tuesday, March the 7th, at 8:25 a.m.
It's not us.
That'd be here in the streets building.
Let's do it here.
Okay.
Don't have a, yeah. All right.
Okay.
What's that, 7th again? 7th?
Tuesday, March 7th.
At 8:25 a.m.
Special council meeting,
Somebody better bring
8:25.
donuts.
And we're assuming like a Mark Porter.
Yeah, because
He
he's
is.
gonna
He's
be
on
here for
streets.
the street, so,
Perfect.
Okay,
thank you.
We should let them
good call,
And just,
Danielle.
Yeah, sending you out.
Solicitor, just to confirm, then Councilman Canton and I don't need to show up for that meeting,
That's correct.
okay? If that's the only business that's going to be conducted,
All right,
then we'll go teach. We'll see you later.
do we need to approve your absence?
Special counsel.
No.
No.
Okay. All right, we are now at the bills list. Dennis, are you going to do them all?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna do them all.
Let's do them all.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to ratify the bills list of 1/30/23 in the amount of $19,544.23 and 2/15/22 in the amount of, that should be
No, we
23, I believe, right, Danielle?
they can't go down.
We need to break, we gotta break
break
this into pieces,
Okay,
sorry.
I'll read the motion. Sorry.
Okay,
You can't do the 15th, just do the 30th and the 27th.
Okay, so I revised to say I would like to make a motion to ratify the bills list of January 30th, 2023 in the amount of $19,544.23. So moved.
Been moved by Galicki, seconded by Bell. All those in favor say aye.
Oh, we have to do-
Opposed? Okay, that first motion passes. Now we're at the February 27th.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills list of February 27th, 2023 in the amount of $32,311.52. So moved.
Second.
Approved, motion by Galicki, approved by Berger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed, and now we're back to the February the 15th.
We'll do a roll call here.
Which we can't do.
We have to put that off to the
Right, put
next
that off
meeting.
this March.
And Danielle, take a look, it says 2/15/22, I think that you want 23 on this.
Okay.
Okay, we are at new other.
Okay, new other Kavanaugh.
Yes, having missed, hold on, I've got to find my list. Having missed the last meeting, I just want to say the same thing Chris Bell did, that I am highly disappointed with the resignation of Eric Kimball. I have had people call my home and register the same.
Is that all you have?
That's it.
Galicki?
None.
Bell?
None.
Berger?
None.
Canton?
All right. I'm going to throw in one new other. Some of the HOAs, I don't know what it is. It's in the water or something. But there's a little tension in a lot of the different HOA situations. We came here yesterday and we thought we were going to have this packed, it ended up to be wonderful, but we'd been told ahead of time it's going to be very upsetting. So if you hear stuff, just try to keep people calm. But there's, can we sell the green space? Can we build more condos? There's all sorts of stuff going on. So just try to stay calm. All right, Jerry, executive session.
Thank you, Mayor.
Did we get new business from everybody?
Yeah,
Okay.
Did you have some?
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of discussing the possible purchase of property and conferring with the solicitor regarding pending or imminent litigation pursuant to sections 121.22 G2 and 3 of the Ohio Revised Code, and invite the mayor, fiscal officer, and solicitor,
And the lieutenant and the police. chief.
and the lieutenant and our police chief.
Second.
Been moved by Canton,
Just the one.
Seconded by-
Did he get it? Okay.
by Berger. Roll call, please.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Galiki, Bell,
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
All right, we will go into executive session at 8:38. Gives us time to